Good morning. I welcome you all on behalf of Srividya College of Arts and Science and the Department of Commerce to this two-day online program on career education. The first session is how to become an entrepreneur. It will be handled by Dr. R. Sundararaj, working as assistant professor in Ayanada Janayamal College. He is having 16 years of teaching experience and rich knowledge about entrepreneurship. He is the right person to handle the session. Now the session starts.
Hello everyone. Uh, First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Dr. R. Sundarraj, working as an assistant professor in Ayanada Janaki Ammal College, Shivakasi. Yeah. So let me thank the Srividya College for giving me this opportunity to conduct a online class on how to become an entrepreneur. See, most of the time, a student generally in his passing out batch, like third year, has a dilemma in his mind that what career he should take. And when I go to the class, and often I ask this question, that what do you want to become after you graduate? Most of them are determined to go for some higher education. Most of them want a government job. They try for some competitive examination. Most of them have no idea at all. But a few of them have an idea of getting into entrepreneurship. But the problem is they don't know what to do and how to start. Now, this is what I am going to tell you in this video session. See, let us see. Choosing entrepreneurship as a career, I think, is the best one because you may be your own boss. Not only for that, it is just a secondary point I am telling you, but the most important point that I want to tell you is when you become an entrepreneur, there are so much benefits that you are generating. Just because of you becoming an entrepreneur is creating an opportunity, is creating wealth, is creating generating job for rest of the people, contributing to the economy, contributing to the nation, increasing the exports. See how much you do when you take this decision and become an entrepreneur. So this is what I am going to tell you, explain you in the entire session. Now let us first make it clear why entrepreneurship or how it is done, right? So I have decided to divide this session in three parts. That is why entrepreneurship is necessary, who can become an entrepreneur, and how you can become an entrepreneur. See, most of the time people doesn't know that entrepreneurship is necessary for the development of the economy. That you have to understand how it is development for the, why it is necessary for the development of the economy. See, let us take when you become an entrepreneur, you not only provide yourself an employment, but you are also providing employment to lot of people. When a person is employed, his income is increased. When his income is increased, he tends to spend more. When he spends more, that expenditure becomes the income of another person, and that income will increase. When that income will increase, he will spend more. This is a chain. This is the economic chain. Income of one person goes to the other hand as an expense, and that expense will become an income of another person, and that income will become an income of another person. So like this. Now, when your income increases, your standard of living increases. When your standard of living increases, your quality life also increases. And not only this, you, by the way of becoming an entrepreneur, we contribute a lot to the society, we contribute a lot to the economy. And apart from all this, I would like to give you a statistics which is very important for you people to understand. A study was made of 100 countries or so, and India stood 65th in the ranking. That means, according to the study, entrepreneurship awareness or the growth is India is in the 65th position. Last year, we rose above one position. We are in the 64th position now. See, lot of time the government is talking about entrepreneurship. Even our beloved Prime Minister is more into that concept. You know very well how much of schemes he has brought for the benefit of small entrepreneurs. Make in India. Whatever you do, you just produce in India. PMMY, that is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, PMKVY, like that, so many schemes he has brought. And all this reason is just to improve the entrepreneurship development in India, because it gives lot of benefits to lot of people. And the next part is, who can become an entrepreneur? Again, most of the time we have a misconception in our mind that only a son or a daughter of a businessman can become an entrepreneur. No, I'll say no. Entrepreneurs are not born, they can be made, they can be developed. We educate them, train them, provide them assistance, provide them all the necessary resources what they need. And if apart from all these things, if they have a determination to become an entrepreneur, definitely they will become an entrepreneur. Now, who can become an entrepreneur? Answer is, anybody can become an entrepreneur. Just you need to have the determination in your mind that you want to do some business, you want to grow up like anything. Then you will be an entrepreneur, right? And government is mostly focusing on the young generation like you. In India, the demographic dividend is the best in the world. For the next 40 years, India will be on the top. You have to understand this. Young people, mark my word, you should take necessary steps. We will be on the top of the economies of the world. We will be a superpower in coming future. And the last part is, when we say why it is important, who can be an entrepreneur, then again the next question comes, how you can become an entrepreneur. And that is what we are going to discuss on all these things. Right, let's move on. Come. Now, we shall go in somewhat detail. Let me ask you one question. Do you think India is a industrialized country? Yes, your answer is right. India is a industrialized country, but till 2009, India was not an industrialized country. India got independence in 1947. First 5-year plan, industrial revolution was started in the year 1951. But till 2009, India was not able to become an industrialized country. We were growing slowly. This is what was happening. Till 2009, only 14 countries were listed as industrialized countries. After 2009, another 40 countries were added to the list. India was one of them. After 2009, India is also called as an industrialized country. Now another question comes. We say India is a developing country. Till when? Since I was studying, since my teachers were studying, we kept on saying that India is a developing country, India is a developing country. Till when? What is that point where we have to reach to mark ourselves as developed country instead of saying ourselves as developing country? Concept is simple. It's nothing. You have heard about imports, exports. This is one context where I am explaining to you where we can become as a developed country. This is one context. On one hand, we have imports. On the other hand, we have exports. Exports means we produce in our country and send it to other countries. Import means other countries produce and we bring them to our country. Now what happens when we buy products from other countries? We have to pay them. And what happens when we sell the products made from our country? They will pay us. When they will pay us, foreign currency will come to India. When we will pay them, Indian currency will go to foreign hands. This is what is happening. You know this concept very well. Now what is the consequences? Balance of payment is adverse. So the money value decreases. So what we have to do? We have to increase the exports, decrease the imports, so that balance of payment meets, and in one point when the export will increase and imports will reduce, India can be a developed country. This is in one context. Now, out of so many countries, so many years, we are struggling, and the good point is we are on the trend to. So like soon we will reach that point where we can say ourselves as developed nation. For that you have to contribute as an entrepreneur. Remember, right? Now another important thing is, when you do this entrepreneurship, we can substitute the imports. Correct? When you start producing the things which we are importing from other countries, we can reduce them or we can stop them if we produce them here itself. Now this entrepreneurship is beneficial in substituting the imports, manufacturing in India. That's why government introduced a scheme called as Make in India. You remember that? Good. Now again, another important thing you could have seen, in all the states only a few cities are well known. Like, for take example, take Maharashtra. If I say Maharashtra, the first thing will come to your mind is Mumbai. Second thing will be Pune, Thane, or a few other cities. That's it. If you say Tamil Nadu, the first thing that comes to your mind is Chennai, Coimbatore, Tiruchi, Madurai. A few people will be knowing about Tirunelveli, Thuthukudi, because there is an harbor. Or people living in Tamil Nadu may be knowing a lot of places, but people living outside Tamil Nadu. When I say Uttar Pradesh, you may know Lucknow, Allahabad, Varanasi. Only a few cities. Why don't you know a name of a smaller town, or why don't you know a name of a village? Because they are not developed as these cities are developed. Now the concept is, there should be a balanced regional development to bring the development in a balanced manner all over. It is not like developing one place alone and forgetting about other small places. It is not like that. And how it is possible? It is only possible when people from those areas, those rural areas, or those villages, or those backward areas take an initiative to entrepreneurship. When they become an entrepreneur, their area will develop. And this is how you get a balanced regional development. Great? Yes. And the most importantly, an entrepreneur is creating job. He is generating employment. Now see how much it is important. I remember at this point, I remember Narayana Murthy, you know him very well, the former CEO of Infosys. In 1981, he was working in a company, he was fed up and he quit. He started a business with a very small investment of 10K maybe, and today 84,000 people are working in his company. Now this is the initiative of one man who has taken a step and feeding 84,000 people, 84,000 families, rather you can say. Now this is the importance of entrepreneurship, and this is the most important benefit of entrepreneurship. Now as I said, again, it increases the standard of living. See, standard of living means if you get food for 3 times a day, if you have a good shelter, if you have good clothes to wear, standard of living is attained. But today we need more than that. Not luxury, but we need a quality life. When our income increases, we can have a quality life. And quality life is very essential, my friends. It's very essential. Right? Only quality life will give you all those satisfaction and all the development that you need, the education that you have for your children, for all the surroundings people, whoever live, and thus it develops the society. Right. Now, going more into this, I would like to say there are how this entrepreneurship is contributing to the country. When I say this is a small business, do a small business, you may ask me, or there may be a question in your mind that what this small business is going to contribute to the economy. No. According to the statistics, these small scale industries, or you can say MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium industries, are contributing nearly 50%, 45 to 50% to the exports of the nation. So remaining is contributed by the large scale industries, and 45 to 50% is contributed by the small scale industries or MSMEs. So that is equally good. It is equally good. Who can become an entrepreneur? Anybody. It can be you, it can be me, it can be anyone. Anyone can become an entrepreneur. Just he needs to have the spark. He needs to have that energy. He needs to have that determination to become an entrepreneur. And especially people in the age group of 18 to 45 do this. Indina. Now our next part is who can become an entrepreneur? Anyone. It can be you, it can be me, or it can be anybody listening to this program, or anybody in India or anybody in this world can become an entrepreneur. Just you need to have a spark. Just you need to have that energy. Just you need to have that determination that I want to become an entrepreneur. That is the first and foremost quality a person should have to become an entrepreneur. And especially people in the age group of 18 to 40 or 45 have that spark. They can do that because these young people are power plant of idea generation. Lot of ideas keep coming to their mind, and until and unless they take some initiative, these ideas will be buried. So they have to take initiatives. Now, as I said, these people are power plant of idea generation. These ideas are innovative, or in other words, you can say futuristic. Futuristic is the right word. I can tell you there was a period when manufacturers used to produce things to satisfy the customer, and we used to say customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is the friend. But today we have progressed to the next level. Now we are into customer delight. We are delighting the customer. Delighting the customer means when you fulfill the expectations of a customer, that is customer satisfaction. When you give more than the expectation of a customer, that is customer delight. That means you are able to provide what the customer has not even thought of. That is futuristic. You produce products for the future. That is your creative ideas. That is your innovation capabilities that you have in your mind. Don't waste it, my friends. I would tell you, please don't waste those type of ideas and those energies that you are having in your mind, because they are precious. They are valuable. They are the actual resources of the country, based on which the country will develop. Yes, I am right in this point, and I prove it. Yes. To become an entrepreneur, there are certain personality traits. Normally we say qualities, we call them qualities, but here I would like to say it as personality traits. These personality traits are very much essential to become an entrepreneur. Now, what are those? You have to possess. The most important thing is determination. As I said, you have to be determined, right? I ask a lot of people, you wanted to become an entrepreneur, you said, you had told me that you wanted to become an entrepreneur, but you haven't become an entrepreneur. You are having so much of energy, your idea was good, you are having all the planning and everything, but you didn't become an entrepreneur, you are working somewhere. Why? The answer I get is, sir, I didn't have money. Money was the problem. See, money is not a problem. You can say, yes, money is the problem. What else? I agree. Money is the problem. But there is a solution. There is a solution for that. For arranging money, government has taken lot of steps. You have to know it. You don't know it. That's why it is your problem. If you know that these are some sources where you get or where you can get this capital or where you can raise this capital, the money will not be a problem for you at all. Agreed? Yes. Then what is the problem? Ideas? You have to work on it. Ideas, you have to work on it. When an idea comes to your mind, you have to work on it. You have to make a feasibility study. You have to see whether it is good enough, which can survive for a long run in the market, or it can be the need, that is the demand, what your idea is. Then when you make this study, idea is not a problem. Then what is the problem? My friends, the actual problem is you. You don't determine to become an entrepreneur. You just have an idea to become an entrepreneur. When you take the determination, yes, I want to become an entrepreneur, 100 failures won't stop you. Mark my words. Even 100 failures will not stop you. Determination is the most important quality you should have in you, so that it keeps, or you keep moving, or you keep marching towards the ambition that you have fixed. What next? Innovation. Wherever entrepreneurship comes, innovation comes together. There is no separation. Innovation is a continuous process. Innovation should be always done, not only in the beginning. And innovation can be done in the product, can be done in the production techniques, can be done in the marketing techniques, can be done in the markets, anywhere. Innovation has no limits. That's true. Innovation has no limits. You can keep on innovating, right? You can take an example of a pen. How this instrument was discovered. In earlier days, it was known as a quill, and today it has taken a form of anything. You have a cell phone, you have a mobile phone in your pen, you have a computer in your pen, you have a GPS locator in your pen, you have everything in your pen. And still there is a lot that can be added. Innovation. So innovation has no limit. Innovation has no limit at all. This is the second important quality that an entrepreneur should possess. 10. Are you able to take risk? Whether you have the capability of taking risk, because entrepreneur should take risk. Why risk? Because you are innovating. Innovation means there is no such product in the market before. You are trying something new, right? You are putting some capital, you are putting your resources, you are engaging lot of human resources to work, time, money, efforts, and producing something where risk is involved. You don't know whether this product will succeed. You have made the study. You have made all the feasibility study, but practicality is different from feasibility. Reality is different from feasibility. Things change. You have to take that risk. So if you have that capacity to take risk, you will succeed. Definitely you will succeed. Next is be ambitious. Be ambitious. Ambition, you fix a point. I have to reach here. Chase it. Just chase it. Whatever comes your way. That is the challenge. Face the challenge. Overcome it. Reach your goal. Go. Keep going. Because you are determined. You have a very good innovation. You have a very good creativity. You are a power pack of that. And you are able to take risk. You have the capacity to take risk. Now just go and chase your ambition. Keep going until you reach your ambition. You will become a successful entrepreneur. And a lot of entrepreneurs have become successful like that only. If you ask them, they will say, chase your dreams. That will be the simple thing or simple success line they will tell you, chase your dreams. Chase your ambition. Right? Then, knowledge. Without knowledge, these things cannot be done. What is knowledge? Knowledge about product, knowledge about the market, production techniques, knowledge about the income, taste, preference of the people. That's what in other words called as market survey, market research, knowledge about the domain where you are going to work, knowledge about your competitors, knowledge about the business, knowledge about the supply of raw material, knowledge about the logistics available in the market, knowledge about the partners, knowledge about the skilled laborers. All this is very important, my dear. This is very important. This knowledge is the actual resource you should have to succeed. Without knowledge, stepping into this entrepreneurship will definitely leave in vain. So you have to possess knowledge. So gather knowledge, accumulate this knowledge, then step into the business. When this knowledge is gained, you have collected this knowledge, take initiative. Be the first. Be the first to take this step. See, if you don't execute your idea, somebody else will do. Your idea will go. You have made so much of, you have taken so much of efforts. You have done so much of work. And the most important thing, you don't take step at the right time. Somebody else will do that. And all your efforts will go. And next time, you will not be interested. You will get fed up. You will be irritated to do that again. So take initiative. That is again important. When you accumulate all these things, take initiative. Carry the responsibility. You have to carry the responsibility. Generally, human beings take the credit of success, but they don't take the reasons for failure. They will impose the reasons for failure into somebody else. Why? Because they are not ready to take that responsibility. See, when you succeed, you take the credit because you think you were responsible for your success. When you fail, again take that credit. Again, the reason for your failure is you. There was some lacking. Nothing wrong. Learn from your mistakes. And that will only happen when you take that responsibility, when you learn from your mistakes and proceed. And believe me, when you take that responsibility, you will take every step very carefully. So that will avoid wastage of resources, that will avoid losing up of chances, opportunities, and everything. Right? After taking responsibilities, you should be able to manage your resources. Resources are very precious. Resources are very precious. You have to use them effectively, efficiently, economically. Or else all your money will go in that. All your resources will be finished. So you should be able to manage your resources, whether it is human resource, whether it is material, machine, capital, whatever, very efficiently, very effectively, and very economically. 3 E's, remember this, yes. And the most important quality, though it is in the last, but I would say it is very important, leadership. You should be a leader. You should be a good leader. We always say there is a difference between a leader and a boss. You know that very well. Now the social media platform is good. We share a lot of stories. We share a lot of images, pictures, videos. So these things you know pretty well. Here you have to be a leader. Leader who leads. And others can follow you. Others can trust you. You can only lead when you are active. That means you should be the active member in your organization. You should always thinking for the future, and you have to lead. You should know where this path will lead us to. You should not choose a wrong way. You should not choose a wrong path, right? That may lead others into it. You will be risking yourself, others, all the resources and everything. So you should be a good leader where you can motivate people to work, where you can encourage them, where you can lead them to your success. Your success is their success. Your organization success is country success. This is our third part. Here comes the most important part for which you are waiting. How to become an entrepreneur. See, there is no tricks. Believe me. There is no shortcut. There is no formula. You have to follow. What other entrepreneurs did, you have to do the same. In the sense, like the first and foremost thing that you have to do is your personality development. That means, as I said, determination. You don't put a reason that you didn't become an entrepreneur because of others. Your parents did not allow. The society did not allow. Your friends or relative did not allow, or your teacher did not allow you. Don't give the blame to somebody else. If you were determined, nobody could have stopped you. Instead, you would have convinced every one of them, and they would have been convinced because of your confidence. That is personality development. Once you develop that confidence, and how this confidence can be developed? Acquire knowledge, be innovative, be prepared to take risk, be a leader. When you acquire all these qualities, automatically there will be a confidence in you, and when you have this confidence, definitely you will be determined, and when you will be determined, there will be a transformation in your personality, and this personality transformation is most essential to become an entrepreneur. Next is, again, you have to be innovative. You have to be innovative. Keep thinking, keep thinking. Once you generate an idea, implement it, it becomes a successful one. Don't sit and relax. Think for the next one. You have to be innovative. Innovative should be a routine process in you. It's a quality that should spontaneously come out of you. Innovation is required everywhere, as I said, not only in product, in production also, in marketing also, in selling also, planning also. Everywhere you can do this innovation, right? And you have to seek for opportunities. You have to find out new ways. You have to find out new market. You have to find out new people, new customers. For example, a product is being sold to people above the age of 20. That means only the people in the age of 20 or above are using that product. Now try to find out a similar product which can be used below that age group. Below that age group. For example, Horlicks was preferred mostly by the people in the age of 15 or above, or 12 or above. Now they made an innovation, Junior Horlicks, Women's Horlicks, Mother's Horlicks, and people with diabetics, Horlicks Light, people in the age group of 40 to 50, Horlicks Gold, like that. They made a lot of innovations. You can keep telling, list goes on. So you have to find a new opportunity to keep going. It's not a short term, it's for a long term. Yes. And all for this all, you have to arrange finance. Here comes the capital. You have to arrange finance. You have to find out sources. You have to find out sources. There are a lot of sources, my dear. We say we didn't had finance, we didn't had money, that's why we didn't do this business, or I cannot become an entrepreneur. That's not true. You have sources. Until and unless you know about the sources, that is what I said, knowledge. You should know. You should be able to know that where this finance is available, how I can get this money, how I can raise this capital, what people in America and Singapore are doing for capital. Have you ever heard about crowdfunding? Have you ever heard about venture capital? These are very common sources. I would like to tell you about those in my next video, but till you have sources in your hand, you can search out what is crowdfunding, right? And before that, we have a lot of commercial banks, financial institutions, which are ready to finance you for your business. And for that, what you have to do is, I'll tell you in the next slide. Then you have to develop your communication. Until and unless your communication is developed, you cannot convince. You go to a bank manager to ask loan, your communication is not good. How will you deliver, or how will you transfer the idea to his mind? He will not understand anything. He will not sanction you any loan. So your communication should be good. You have to be a hard worker. Getting a loan from bank is not simply like going 10 o'clock, putting an application, and 10:15 you get a loan. No, it will take 3 months, 4 months. So you should be a hard worker. Whatever details they want, you have to explore them. You have to get it. You have to document it. You have to produce the documents. You have to keep running. You have to be a very hard worker, right? Until and unless it is not going to happen. You should be able to assemble resources. You should know, now you know where capital is available. You get the capital. Now you should know where the machinery is available. Now you should know where the raw materials are available. Now you should know how can I get skilled people to work. What technology I should use. What is the updation. How I can export. What are the procedure for export. All these things you have to know, right? So again, then you have to organize. The most important thing is organize. Lot of people are associated with you. Until and unless you have a structured form, you cannot impose or delegate any authority or responsibility to anyone. Now you have to organize everything so that everything goes in a controlled manner. Now you have to learn it. And last but not the least, you have to be flexible. Market keeps changing, people keep changing. Now you have to be flexible enough to change yourself or adapt to the new situations what people want. As I said, you can get assistance from government. Now the question comes how you can get an assistance from the government. See, first thing, you cannot simply go to a government agency or a government office and you can say I want to do business, give me money. It is not like that. You have to come up with a business idea. The idea that you are going to transform into a business. Now this idea cannot be a simple idea, right? You cannot go and tell them an idea, this is the idea, I want to do a business and give me money. No, it is not going to happen. This idea should be good enough and this idea has to be transformed into a project. Formulation of a project has to be done. What does this project means? Now you split that idea into different categories, like this is the idea and what you want? Capital. What you want? Machinery. What you want? Materials. What you want? Labors. And how much time it will take to produce? How you are going to market it? What is the price of the product? What is the cost going to be involved? What marketing network do you require? What is the platform in which you are going to sell? Are you going to export? Are you going to import something? This idea needs all this information. When you collect all these ideas, where you are going to produce, how you are going to produce, when you are going to produce, all this information has to be packed in a project. You have to be formulated into a project with a sequence. Now this is the project that you can take for approval. And now this project can be presented as a report. Now precise it, make it understandable to a common man. Now this becomes a report. Now take this report to DIC. What is DIC? District Industries Center. Now this District Industries Center is available in all districts. Wherever the concentration of industries is more, there will be a DIC. There are 422 DICs all over India. Almost every district is having one DIC. Take this project report to the DIC, get it approved. Get it approved means you submit there, they will go through, all the aspects of your project, marketing, financing, production, everything, and they will approve it. If there is some changes required, they will tell you, you make the changes, and then they will approve it. And once your project is approved, the commercial banks and financial institutions will come forward to finance you. Up to 5 lakhs you can get finance very easily. There are people, my own students are there, who have got an approval from DIC, their project got approved from DIC, and 3.85 lakhs they were financed from SBI. State Bank of India called them voluntarily, they financed it. And when you get such finance, you get some subsidies and incentives also, like there is no interest for the first 3 years. Installments can be paid according to your wish. That means you can customize the installments. So there are a lot of flexibilities will be given to you. Now tell me, you didn't had a single money, but now you have 5 lakhs in your hand. Capital problem solved. Then this DIC will also help you in technical support. You need any technical support, they will take you, they will give you training, all this technical support they can provide you. And finally it comes to the execution of the project. Now you can execute your project, you can do your business. Now as I said, the first and foremost thing is business idea. Without a business idea you cannot step into a business. Now what is a business idea? It should be innovative. Again innovation comes. Any idea that is already existing will not give you success. There should be some innovation which attracts, by which people will be attracted, new customers will be attracted. So innovation. It should be flexible. You should be able to change it according to the time. It should be long lasting. As I said, business is not for a short term, it is for a longer term. So business idea should be for a longer term. It should be simple. It should not be complicated. It should be feasible. It should be having a regular demand. Right? Now this idea is not like doing for some seasonal business 6 months or 1 year and it's done. No, not like that. It should have a regular demand so that you sustain in the business. Your financial position is stronger, it gets stronger and stronger. You have a sound financial background. Right? So those qualities should be associated with your business idea. And it should carry an easy production methodology. It should not be complicated. You can train anyone. You should be able to train anyone to produce. And the most important thing is the availability of raw material to your business idea should be abundant, easy. It should be easily available. There should not be any limited sources, or you have to find and explore new sources too. And you should make sure that raw materials is always available. Now, from where do I get this business idea? Innovation. The first thing is innovation. Because innovation is a genuine idea that comes to your mind. You are a power plant of idea generation, something new comes to your mind, that is innovation, that is a business idea. Because that idea comes to you because of some problem or because of some difficulties that you have faced, and you try to give a solution to face that problem or overcome that difficulty. Now you innovate something, you create something. The same challenge or same problems will be for a lot of people. Now that innovation can be a good source of business idea. Another thing is market demand. When you study the market, when you make a survey of the market, you find that this product is going to reach heights. Market demand. This is going to last for another 10 years or 12 years. Friends and relatives, they are also the power plant of idea generation. Sometimes their ideas may work out. You can discuss with them, you can borrow it from them. Knowledge, that means the education that you have got, any engineering or whatever education you have got, and you can find some business in that same domain of where you have procured your education, technical know-hows. Right? You might have gone through workshops, trainings, lot of training programs during your education. So those technical know-hows will be useful for your business. And always there are promoters who can promote you. They will give you ideas to consultancies are there, right? And sometimes a lot of trade fairs and exhibitions. These trade fair and exhibitions are a very good source of business ideas. You try to go to a trade fair in some bigger cities like Delhi. Every year, international trade fair is conducted from November 14 to November 28. So all the foreign companies exhibit their products, right? And when you go there, you can exchange ideas. You will get a lot of ideas from such type of. Now, what entrepreneurs should do is you have to keep or seek new market, explore new market. It may be a new geographical area, it may be a new place, or it may be new customers, as I said, in different age groups. You get the command over resources. As I said, you have to find out the supply of raw materials. You have to get the command over your resources so that your production keeps on going. Your marketing of your products, responding to competition. Competition will be there. On the side, on one side you are trying to promote yourself, trying to develop. On the other side there will be competition. You have to respond to the competition also. These capabilities you should have. Able to manage finance. You have managed to get initial capital to start the business. Now you have a problem of working capital. You should be able to manage that finance also. You should be capable of introducing new production techniques. You should be capable of introducing new methodologies, which is easier, which is not traditional, which is cost effective, which is simple, which has less wastage, more efficient, more effective, right? Cost effective methods of production you have to find out. And finally, human beings. You have to maintain a very cordial relation with human beings. Human beings are not like other resources. They are human beings. They have feelings. They have emotions. So you have to maintain a very cordial relationship with those human beings. As I said, DIC, what this DIC is doing? This DIC is doing an economic investigation. What is economic investigation? It studies the market, income of the people, expenditure behavior of the people, trends of demand, how it is changing, how many competitors are there already in the market, what will be your position when you get into that, and how they can train you, how they can provide you raw materials, where this raw materials is available. They have to give you the sources. They will also arrange for credit facilities, and they will also arrange you marketing facilities. See, sometimes entrepreneurs fail because of failure in marketing. He knows to produce. He has command over resources. He has good production techniques. He has developed his own easier way of production. He has everything, but he doesn't know to market. He doesn't know to sell. Failure. Now, sometimes DIC also help you in marketing, and this is very much helpful for people in rural background or women entrepreneurs who are not able to market their product to cities. For them, it is very much useful. And apart from this, they identify potential entrepreneurs. They will arrange finance for you. They will tell you about the incentives and subsidies which is available in the market, or that is with the government. They will also help you in import and export, and also help you in participate in trade fairs so that you can develop your product to the next level, and you can have lot of new business association with other countries. Now we come to this important point where you should be having knowledge that the availability of various schemes that government has introduced. Now, one of the most common scheme that government has introduced is PMMY, that is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, where you can get small funds, funding up to 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs in a very simple process. You can always log on to net and you can find out the process. You have to download an application, put it, and once you have been called, you will be sanctioned with the money that you need. So 1 to 1.5 lakhs easily get sanctioned through this PMMY, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, and there are a lot of other schemes in micro, medium, and small enterprises. You can always go into that website and you can download a PDF, a 350 pages PDF, which is full of schemes, which is full of subsidies. You can avail, you can read them, and you can select the best one which fits to your business. You can avail it from the government. This is what the preparation that you have to do. And always you have EDPs, that is entrepreneurship development programs. Normally DIC used to conduct this type of entrepreneurship development programs. Lot of institutions, industries will conduct, training centers are there where you can get this type of entrepreneurship training. Then we have technical assistance. This DIC is always giving you technical assistance. They will take you to similar industries, give you training. There is an ministry called as Ministry for Skill Development. They are having a National Institute for Entrepreneurship, Small Scale and Entrepreneurship Development, NICEBUD. So they are giving you 5 days to 10 days training. Fully residential is available. So lot type of technical assistance will be provided by the government. Then we have training centers, incubation centers. There are a lot of training centers available with the research and development departments, training departments of industries. Incubation centers are there with educational institutions, and a lot of educational institutions are providing training and incubation to the budding entrepreneurs. And always there is DIC. For any type of assistance, you can always approach marketing, purchase, procurement, technology, development. Any type of assistance you can always approach to DIC for their assistance. So these are the various schemes and assistance which is provided by the government, which is very, very useful for us. So first you have to analyze it, you have to go through it, and you should be aware of these type of assistance. At last, we should also know why entrepreneurs fail. So for so long we have been discussing about how to succeed, how to reach your ambition, and how to be a leader and all. We should also know why entrepreneurs fail, so that we don't make these mistakes. As I said, business idea is the most important one. If you lack good business idea, you will fail. So a business idea is the key factor, key to success. Have a good business idea. It's not like you think some business idea and stepping into it. No, wait for it, work on it, make some study, go to the field, practically you do that research, whether your idea is going to work out or not. Meet people, discuss it, so that their opinions will come. They can tell you something which you might not know. That will be useful for you. So don't lack in good business idea, it will lead to failure. Seed capital, the initial capital. See, for doing all this work, you need at least a little bit of capital to proceed with. And sometimes people don't have that, even a little capital. Even when you construct a house, the bank will finance you only up to 80 to 85%. The remaining money you have to, that 10 or 15% or 20%, you have to invest. That is seed capital. The little initial amount from your hand you have to so you have to arrange it so that you can proceed with the business. Motivation, lack of motivation. You are all alone. You need people to motivate you, to push you, right? They can inspire you. You need motivation. So you have to keep talking to people, meet successful entrepreneurs, so that they can motivate you, they can give you new ideas, they can give you new methods, right? And technical know-how is you have to develop your knowledge, and until and unless you develop your technical knowledge, definitely you are going to fail. Today there is a trend of online business, so you should know the knowledge of, you should have the knowledge of online banking, e-commerce, how to sell online, how to buy online, how to pay online. This is technical knowledge you should possess. And business knowledge, how to enter into a contract, how to sell, how to purchase, billing, GST, all these things you need to know. And of course, and always there is society, which will sometimes support you, which will sometimes criticize you, which will sometimes demotivate you. So you have to be ready for all these things, right? So you have to convince people or you have to ignore them. And finally, legal constraints and regulations. What happens? There are so much of legal formalities which you have to take, which you have to take. So you have to know the knowledge of legal formalities and regulations, right? Documentary work will be a bigger part. You should be comfortable with that. So when you do all these things, definitely you will succeed. So mark my words, have a determination, and definitely you will succeed in your entrepreneurship career. So you can take entrepreneurship as a career if you follow all these things. So finally, thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sundaraj sir, for your valuable speech. It was highly informative session. Thank you so much, sir. Dear participants, kindly join us the second session. Our resource person is Mrs. Deviga sir, visiting professor, Jain Tube University and Jyoti Nivas College, Bangalore. The course link is provided in the comment section as well as in the Telegram. Thank you.